All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning. Welcome aboard Top Gun Options and welcome aboard our solo AI live trade brief. Really excited to knock this out. Man, what a week we have ahead. We have earnings. We got Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, Apple. I mean, it doesn't get any tech heavy than this week. So this is why I wanted to knock out a solo AI brief. For all the new folks, we have like 300 new folks outside of our normal members. So welcome aboard. I'm going to give you a quick brief. We're going to jump in live in the market and start looking at stuff. I blasted out a solo Amazon pre-earnings brief to my members a couple hours ago. Hopefully, they've all digested that, and I'm really excited for this week. And on top of all of that, we got a Fed meeting now. Looking at the CME, Fed funds futures rate, there's like a 1 in 3 chance they hike rates this week. I don't think that's going to happen, but we're going to see Kevin Warsh at a podium at the new Fed chief at 2:30 on Wednesday. And he will absolutely move the market. And then we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but I just saw a tweet from the Radical Islamic Republic of Iran that said, "We didn't ask for a pause. We're not negotiating. We don't know who you're talking to, and we own the Strait of Hormuz." So that's why you see the S&P 500 gapped up, and we're imploding right now. This ain't over. And sadly, one of the reasons we are taking a pause is because my bro, General Kane, Dan Kane, I've known for over 20 years, and Admiral Cooper over at CENTCOM across the state from me said, "We're out of WEPs, man. We are dangerously low on WEPs." So as opposed to what you might be hearing, hey, we're taking a pause, because we're talking. They just said they're not talking. And both things can be true, right? I guarantee you they are talking to Iranians in Oman, trying to get a deal done. Those are the people that want to live, and they might be diplomats. But the folks who control the military want to fight to the death. This ain't over. It's not even close to being over. And we actually last week we put on a bearish trade, bailed out of that, and we're already printing money in our bearish position. So you're going to learn how you can potentially print money up, down, or sideways. Before I forget, if you got to leave or you just showed up late, you only missed 2 minutes, this will be the replay page. So this is from June or March or whenever I did the last solo AI brief. It'll be posted on this replay page. So that link is in the chat box, and obviously you can join on that page. That's before I forget some administrative items. And then I'm live streaming this on YouTube right now. Make sure you're subscribed to the Top Gun Options YouTube channel, because I post my daily situation report Monday, Wednesday, Friday on here. We got our media appearances on here. You know what? I am going to take a victory lap right now. So on Fox News last week, I made news. I said the Russians are absolutely giving targeting information, precise targeting information to hit our barracks in Jordan, the Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain, and radar installations in Bahrain and Kuwait. What happened hours after that interview on Fox News? A reporter asked Secretary of State Rubio, "Hey, the Russians are giving targeting information." He said, "Who said that?" Well, and she's like, "Well, we're hearing reports in the media." And he snapped back. He didn't answer the question. He snapped back and said, "Oh, well, if it's from the media, it has to be true." And then he moved on from it. The reason he didn't answer that was because I think he was in Asia meeting with Lavrov, the Russian foreign prime minister. And I guess he didn't want to ruffle feathers going into that meeting. What happened 2 days ago or a day ago? President Zelensky on Twitter posted a thread of, you can believe it or not, but he's like, "Here's the evidence. We know for a fact that Russia's helping to kill Americans in the Middle East." Whoa. So why am I rambling about that? Because you can watch that interview right here. But I got to be honest with you, folks. I'm not some raging hyper-partisan. We've been providing intelligence to Ukraine for years to kill Russian soldiers, probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. So they're returning the favor. War is ugly. It's a horror. What's this have to do with trading? Everything. And we're going to get into all of that. But all right, let's go ahead and we're going to knock out our AI portion of the brief, folks. This is the most disruptive technology ever created. Now, don't be that guy or gal that comes in here and says, they said that about the Model T and the airplane, and here we are. Man, none of that stuff was like thinking for itself. None of that stuff really super replaced a lot of people. Yeah, the horse and buggy people got replaced by the Model T. I get all that stuff. You're preaching to the choir. But this is different. Now, humanity will figure out a way to shuck and jive and absorb, and who's it, Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, right? Life finds a way. So we'll find a way. But I always love going down memory lane here. Do you remember like 3, 4 years ago, all the CEOs and the nerds and the booger eaters? Oh, AI is going to be great. It's going to make your job easier. It's going to be awesome. Everything's great. And then, the past year or two, they're like, yeah, it's going to take everybody's job and most likely kill us. I mean, Jamie Dimon, you're only going to work 3.5 days a week. AI is going to tuck every job. Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO, super intelligent AI will happen in our lifetimes. And now we start drifting. Last year, May, the CEO of Anthropic, 50% of entry level white collar jobs are gone within 1 to 5 years. Microsoft AI, 12 to 18 months until most white collar tasks are automated. Jack Dorsey, what was that, 6 months ago? He clipped 40% of his company, 4,000 employees in the blink of an eye, right? And the stock jumped 24% when they did that. Andrew Yang ran for president, Democrat. AI will destroy millions of white collar jobs in months. And then the co-founder of Anthropic, did you see, like, when was this, 3, 4 months ago? They went to the Vatican. These people went to the Vatican and told the Pope, like, yeah, we need help. We don't know what we made. We think this thing might have a conscience. If the guys who made this stuff are telling you they don't know what they made, that's bad. What did the Pope call it? He called it the Tower of Babel. He called AI. Do you remember this? We keep finding things that are mysterious, even unsettling. He told the Pope. Are you paying attention to this? So they told you on camera. They told Congress. They went to Davos, the Beautiful People Conference. They told. I mean, over let's just say 300,000 people have been clipped year to date in the United States. Nobody can say you weren't warned. I'm old. You guys can probably guess my age. Grew up in the 80s, man. I remember the movies, right? Terminator. It's a thing. So here's our heat map. Okay, Andrew Karpathy, right, took his experience in the space and some Bureau of Labor Statistics modeling. This was from March of 2026. It's an eye chart, but every brownish, reddish color is touched by AI. What's at risk? 143 million US jobs. Now, if you're, who's the guy? Mike Rowe. I met Mike Rowe down here in Boca Raton, God's Waiting Room, a couple years ago. Great guy. Why do I bring him up? Because he was on a podcast like 6 months ago saying blue collar jobs. You laughed at all the degreed people laughed at the blue collar jobs, but now who's laughing? Nobody's laughing, Mike. Why? No job is safe. I remember a year ago, people saying, well, I remember seeing these robots, like an Optimus robot or whatever it's called, like 2 years ago, trying to fold like a towel or a sheet, and it was kind of clunky. You see recent videos of these things folding sheets? And a standard talking point by some people in this country for illegal immigrants. Who's going to pick our crops? They said the same thing in the Civil War, but guess who's picking our crops now? I saw this video of an AI cotton thing. It like looks at the cotton instantaneously if it's good or bad or not, and whether to trash it or keep it or leave. No job is safe, folks. I don't care what your job is. It is not safe. Does everybody understand that? So don't give me the blue collar jobs. Man, I saw a video of some Chinese bots, man. I mean, first of all, they're flipping on stage and everything like that. I'm like, well, those are going to be soldiers soon. To an electrician bot going up on a high line thing and fixing stuff. So even the most blue collar jobs, plumbers are going to be gone soon. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, folks. And let me lead with this. I don't want this to happen. I don't want any of this to happen. But if it's going to happen, I'm going to make money on the way up and on the way down and on the way sideways. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so nothing is safe. Last week, folks, did you see some of these headlines? Corporate America has suddenly decided to stop blowing money on AI. Ooh. Companies big and small are mixing models and changing the economics of power plays of the industry. Oh boy. How about this one? OpenAI, this was in Futurism. OpenAI appears to be missing its sales goals by a vast margin. Did you see? I'll show you this article, but did you see the math? We expect to be making trillions by now. You made 10 bucks. They're not even close. I got to share this article with you. And then what also happened last week? A week and a half ago, they had a big conference in Shanghai. China's top AI event delivers message to the US. We're coming for you. Top American AI executives sound alarm on Chinese models. It's extremely rare for CEOs in this country to go to Washington and go help. They want Washington as far away as they can. The last time I saw this was Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan going to Washington begging for help when China still are hacking into all their stuff and doing insider trading. The People's Liberation Army and also the North Korean army hacks into all of this stuff and they place trades on it. Separate story. But here's my point. China it's not coming, it's here. Do you remember a year ago when we had our first AI crash pullback? It was DeepSeek. DeepSeek's like, yeah, we do everything those American AI models do, and we do it for a penny. Whoa, our market flipped out. Did that like go away? No. I didn't forget about it, but the market forgot about it. That's why the earnings this week are going to be massive. Good or bad, man, this is a week, right? So if the bubble, you know, people keep asking me like, Whiz, is it a bubble? Is it a bubble? Man, I was sitting in a fighter squadron in Myanmar in 2000 during the dot-com bubble, man. I've been there. Where was I? You'll learn in a couple minutes. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, I was in the Board of Trade. I ran over to the VIX pits in the SIBO when it hit 90. I've seen this stuff, folks, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. If it keeps inflating, we have long-term bullish synthetic stock we're going to talk about right now, printing money. We get paid as the build out accelerates. What if it explodes? Even when or if it explodes, the good names will survive. You guys know this. I started Whiz.com in 2000. Here's $1 million since you have .com next to your name. Pop. All the crap went away and the strong survived. And Amazon, a Google, right? Microsoft. So the same thing's going to happen with AI. They're not even the big ones will take it on the chin, but then they're going to survive and thrive, right? And this is the verdict. This is why I did this free brief this morning to talk about what's coming. We're going to take a deep dive into Amazon because I call this stock the Death Star. It's literally taking over everything. If you're sitting there going, wait a minute, I ordered a toothbrush and it came an hour ago on Amazon. What do you mean AI? They are the leader in, I'll get into it. They're making their own Tranium chips, man, that are faster and cheaper than NVIDIA's. It's the Death Star, folks. Yeah, you can buy a toothbrush in an hour, it'll be here. They have their own UPS and FedEx division. Amazon Prime, bigger than Netflix. I mean, AWS is Microsoft. They are the Death Star. That's who we're going to talk about. Now, for the 302 new folks that don't know too much about Top Gun Options, I'm going to be quick. Matthew Buckley, my call sign's Whiz. My parents love me. They didn't name me Whiz. I earned that call sign flying fighters for the Navy. Long story. I think that's episode 12 of my podcast. I come clean about it if you want to go learn the story. It has nothing to do with intelligence. Deployed for Operation Southern Watch. I've flown combat sorties off the Abraham Lincoln. That's my boat right now out there. Do you know that they've tried to sink the Abraham Lincoln repeatedly? And Russia, I guess to their credit, hasn't given them the full. I don't want to say this, but if somebody wanted to sink the Lincoln, right? Could you imagine waking up tomorrow and 5,000 sailors are dead and Marines on the Abraham Lincoln, my first boat? Woo. Episode 15. Thank you, Bruce. So, and then Noble Eagle and Enduring Freedom. Then what did I do? Short airline career. The morning of September 11th was my first and last trip essentially for American Airlines. I raced out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth, where I was flying F-18s, and I manned a combat air patrol with the F-16 guys next door. Lost my job, went to Wall Street. Headquartered in the Chicago Board of Trade. Right there, you see those big, beautiful windows. Those are those big, beautiful windows right there. I was the managing director of strategy for one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms, headquartered right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. I had a blast. It was a good time. I essentially went from right, being a retail trader up to the big leagues there, man. I joked that I felt like Valentine in Trading Places, right? $1. So off the street into the corner office of a multi-billion-dollar trading firm. And then I came down to South Florida and started TOPGUN Options. Wrote a couple books. One's a bestseller. It's not up there. But COVID crash made nearly $3 million in a couple weeks. $3 million in 3 weeks is, I'll round up. It was a joke. I engaged in outsider trading. I made little old ladies in tennis shoes at TOPGUN Options into millionaires. I have a Dropbox folder with those case studies, man. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. Do you remember Kyle Bass or Bill Ackman on CNBC cry? One of them was crying, remember? We need to shut the markets down and just close it for a couple months and no, we don't. Just because your long-term bullish positions are getting hammered, Bill, doesn't mean I'm not on the other side of them. And then Trump, thank you, President Trump. I made $750,000 in a trade the day at the open, buying puts on the S&P 500, when Trump the day before said stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. The Dow went down 3,000 points. I forget what how much the S&P went down. Anyway, and then obviously, if you don't know that much about me, I got 3 minutes to wrap this up. That's my bio section, 20 minutes. I stay on target so we can go trade. But I have a mission beyond markets. I started the No Fallen Heroes Foundation over 5 years ago to bring psychedelic assisted therapy to our veterans, first responders, and their families. About a year ago, started Sacred Warrior Fellowship, an entheogenic church down here in South Florida. If any of you have seen the movie Lone Survivor, that's Marcus Luttrell. This is the day after we did Ibogaine, man. There's an NFL veteran from Iowa and the Raiders, Robert Gallery. There's a founder of Black Rifle Coffee. And there's JJ, John Jones, a Navy SEAL teammate of Marcus. He's a TGO lifetime member. So I don't know, JJ, if you're in here or not. But man, met with the VA secretary about a year and a half ago. And then over on the right, sitting on the couch on April 17th, whatever that Friday was, 18th? 17th. Friday afternoon, markets closed. It was a long week. I'm like, you know what, man? I never do this. I'm turning off my cell phone and my laptop. I'm done. I'm checking out for the weekend. This is so funny, man. Before I power my cell phone down, White House, caller ID. I'm like, what Indian dude got that as the spam thing? I'm answering this. Well, it was the White House. Hi, Mr. Buckley. Are you in Washington? I'm like, I'm in Boca Raton. What's up? Well, the president would like you to join us tomorrow morning for the executive order signing at 9 a.m. I'm like, I'll start walking. I'm going to jump in my car and drive. Thank you, JetBlue, for an 8 o'clock flight. But I ended up in the Oval Office with the president and my brother, Marcus Luttrell, as he signed the executive order there he is. There's JJ. Everybody say hi to JJ. That's his smiling mug over there on the left. So it was incredible. So that's the mission beyond the markets. But here we go. Let's talk AI. $750 billion into the infrastructure in 2026, folks. So, wow. Look at Amazon. We're going to get updated numbers Thursday after market close. 200 billion, folks, in CapEx. Now, and look at Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft. So, folks, and last week, Alphabet raised, look at down here, folks. Alphabet raised their CapEx and Meta raised. The spending is not slowing. The only question left is who gets paid, and that's on our target list, right? Here's the rest of the verdict calendar, so to speak. This is the quarter, ladies and gentlemen, where we're either going to rip or we're not. 2 quarters ago, what happened with Amazon? It ripped higher. What did the market say? Oh my God, look at how much money they're spending on CapEx and AI with Amazon. Stock went up, like, I forget. What happened the next quarter? Oh my God, look at how much they're spending on CapEx. And the stock got destroyed. I'll go show you the chart. Up, then down. This quarter is going to be the market needs to decide whether CapEx good or CapEx bad. Math matters. What do I mean by that? Math is going to catch up to this eventually. People, just like the dot-com boom, people are only going to keep bidding up so much for vaporware and not seeing anything in return. I'm going to share the Anthropic article with you because we project we're going to make $100 quadrillion. You made $10, dude. Yeesh. If the math, not if, when the math eventually catches up to these names, it might be a bloodbath, folks. But again, I don't care. I prefer it to go up because when things get wiped out, my fellow Americans get wiped out. You don't because you're at Top Gun Options. You know how to make money as things get wiped out. The Death Star, man. Thursday aftermarket close. It's insane how good the last numbers were. That's why I'm a little, yeah, I mean, look down here. You don't have to look at the eye chart. So last quarter, it was a 70% beat, the largest in Amazon's history. This is gonna be big. Jeffries last week said Amazon's trading at a 1/3 discount. It's insanely cheap right now. That ain't me, that's Jeffries. Jeffries agrees with me, but I'm quoting them, and it's in the report that we're gonna cover right now. So this is, and like I said, it's making its own stuff. If you're an NVIDIA person, Trainium. Look at this. They're making their own. Jeff Bezos, a couple years ago, with Andy Jassy, the current CEO, said what? They were looking at their monthly P&L. And I guarantee you, Jeff Bezos was like, my God, man, we're paying a shit pot of money for chips. Why don't we make our own that are faster and cheaper? That's what they're doing. How about advertising? What do you mean? Google does online advertising. Yeah, they suck at it. 70 billion folks. I told you AWS is essentially Microsoft. So look at, you guys obviously can't or can tell that this is the Death Star. So we used to have a service called Solo Amazon where I just traded that, but this AI sector is such an opportunity. That's why I launched Solo AI, this brief, right? So let's go ahead and get airborne and go into the market. It's 3 minutes over my schedule. Does all my tactical trade alert members, you know what? I'm in a good mood. So everybody is going to, here's what I'm going to do. Everybody's going to get that because you guys came to this brief because I want to step through it and I want you to have it up potentially if you want to step through it with me because this is big. I'm going to share this with you. And this is not a cheap piece of equipment. This report right here is about $5,000 when I was up in Chicago. But I'm going to give it to you guys. So let me see when it loads. All right, everybody look in the chat box. It's got a green arrow with it. So there you go, good. Everybody see this Amazon Death Star reports. We're going to walk through this in a couple minutes. Okay. That's a pretty sweet piece of gear. But we're going to do this first because I never start a brief without walking through my SOT. Strategic. We got to talk about what's going on around the globe, folks. Then we peel back the onion and we go one layer under that operationally. What's going on here? Earnings, the Fed, inflation, stuff. And then SOT, the bottom of our pyramid is what? Tactical. That's when we can start talking about trades. So let's knock out a quick SO and then we'll get T. I already told you this. Raisin, Admiral Cooper called Uncle. Not only are we running out of WEPs, Mr. President, but what we are doing, this is the scary part, is not being effective. That's not good, folks. And it's so funny to see all the Democrats and the liberals frothing at the mouth, like, ha ha, we're out of weapons. I'm like, hey, jackwads, for 5 years, you were frothing at the mouth to give hundreds of billions to Ukraine, weapons and money and supplies. 2 years ago, and Navy Admiral Norfolk kind of got sidelined because he's like, we got to start throttling back on what we're giving to Ukraine. We're running out of weapons. Trump gets elected, and now we're doing all this stuff. So this just didn't start, folks. So stop just blaming everything on Trump and TDS, man. We've been out of weapons for a long time. Which does that do with trading, Whiz? Everything. Because this ain't over, folks. The enemy gets a vote, and they're voting to continue. So we need to keep an eye on all of that stuff. But, you know, again, I don't know who controls one Twitter account and who controls the other. That's part of the problem with the decapitation strike. When you kill the first and second echelons of leadership in a country, now you got a clown car. You got dudes over here who are like, whoa, they're going to kill us next. And you got clowns over here going, Allah Akbar, and we're going to fight to the death. These are kamikazes, folks. I'm a student of war history. The emperor is a god, and we had dudes fighting on islands in years after Japan surrendered because they never believed the emperor would surrender. Type of stuff. People are nuts, and they will fight to the end. And some of them are not nuts, saying, no, 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 we want peace. That's the problem right now, folks. Is we don't know. We're like the Wall Street Journal said, we're stuck in a cycle of escalation and de-escalation. So he was briefed on an all-out. I can. No, you probably heard. I wait until I see stuff in the media sometimes, and then I'll go. By the way, I do know that he was briefed on full throttle. That's it, nothing left standing, and he's pulling back a little bit. Now you can fault him for that. The reason he's not doing this is, and there was a guy from the Heritage Foundation on CNBC this morning. He nailed it. Trump's doing this backwards. Do you not remember the shock and awe? Desert Storm? You take out power plants, roads, bridges, dual use infrastructure on night one. We haven't done that in 6 months because the Iranian people are a good, awesome people. It's the leadership that sucks. So this ain't over, ladies and gentlemen. And this is, you ready? This is going to get worse. I always end the strategic part of the brief, whether I'm talking about Ukraine, Russia, or the U.S., Iran, this is going to get worse. Did you see Ukraine struck a Iranian ship or a Russian ship giving Iran stuff in the Caspian Sea? This is a world war, folks, technically. I said that on Fox News, man, and my phone blew up. I'm like, truth, folks, truth is truth. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. That's the truth. We're fighting a proxy war against Russia and Ukraine. They're fighting a proxy war against us with Iran. This ain't checkers, man. All right. So one of the reasons the market, look at the S&P 500 today, folks. Man, I was going to fire a bear call spread at the open too. I'm like, this ain't good news. Look at that. Hey, we're not bombing anymore. Oh, we're not bombing anymore because they're out of weapons and Iran just says we control the Strait of Hormuz. There's nothing you can do about it. I should have fired a bear call spread at the open, but I'm in my zone right now, so I'm going to keep going. There you go, Bruce. Good. My TGO members know what to do. Oil prices roar back, threatening economy and the GOP's midterm hopes. Duh. But let me lead with this. And I said this, if you're new, I'm going to hit you with this. On 9/11, after 9/11, George Bush, a lot of people in this country followed him for what? You didn't connect the dots. I think after the commission report, it said I think one line in one day of one presidential daily brief, PDB, on page, whatever it was, 99, it said, yeah, we heard they might use airliners in some sort of terrorist attack. And people gave him a ration of grief. Like, you should have known. Okay. If those were, he didn't connect the dots, these are planets. 47 years of war against the radical Islamic regime. They scream death to America. They've killed thousands of Americans. And they say we want the most powerful weapon on the planet. so we can kill as many of you as humanly possible. That's where I stand. Iraq and Afghanistan were mistakes. It's always been Iran. Man, I was a kid. I was a teenager when the hostage crisis, and they've been killing Americans ever since. These aren't dots. These are planets. Could you imagine if there was 20 of them, by the way, 29/11 hijackers, hey, don't do the airliner thing. Here's 20 small nukes. Load them up in this U-Haul and just go drive to downtown Dallas, Chicago, New York, Miami, LA, San Fran, and just sit in the truck for a little bit. Boom. That's what's going to happen. Why? Because if I was a radical Islamic Iranian dude, that's what I'd be. That's why I'm fighting to get these nukes so they can kill as many of us as humanly possible. So if you're okay with any of that potentially happening, then you're against this. If not, you're for it. Corporate America has suddenly decided to stop blowing money on AI. Ooh. But now we're in the operational part of the brief. Don't forget, Wednesday afternoon, 2:30, Kevin Warsh. We have a 2-day Fed meeting. It's tomorrow and Wednesday. That will be market moving. Look at where we are, too. We are under the spaghetti, right? That's the 20-day, that's the 50-day moving average. I think, man, I'm feeling it. I said this last week. We put on a bearish double vertical on SPX right there, closed profits a day later. We put on a bearish double vertical last week there, closed profits even more than that week. And right now, folks, I think that's going to happen. The only thing that will prevent a massive pullback right now, because if you're new to TGO, this is trench warfare. Remember in World War I, nobody went in between, it was called no man's land. In between these moving averages is violence. These are magnets. The market either gets pulled down to them or back up. You can see that in the past off the left side of a chart. So I am pretty bearish right now. What was I going to say? The only thing that can save it. The only thing that can save it will be blowout AI earnings. I mean, like obscene. They have to be obscene, or it's going to be bad. The only other thing that can save it is what? 2:30. Kevin Warsh is like, he ain't going to cut, obviously, but dovish language. I don't think that's going to happen either. Jobs market is okay, and he did get some good inflation numbers a couple weeks ago. But folks, I'm telling you, man, I feel this. I'm like old Red sitting on my porch in Kansas when my right knee's aching. A storm's coming. A storm is coming. If you're not, we have hedges on, folks, in our other Top Gun option services. We have bearish. I call them tredges, right? They're trades that I'm pretty sure are going to make money, and they hedge against all my long-term bullish positions. Okay. So I already covered some of these things. China last week, we're coming for you. I need to give you this article because you need to read it. This one, OpenAI. I just want to look at this real quick, man. And then we're going to talk about our tactic Amazon. So folks, where is it? You ready? OpenAI wants you to believe that by 2030, what, 3.5 years, it'll be raking in $100 billion a year from ads. Wait a minute, they're going to start putting, yeah, you thought it was just going to be a clean Claude screen? Now it's going to look like the right side of this thing. Ads. What? Even though it currently is struggling to reach $1 billion. So this analysis found OpenAI is on pace to undershoot its own 5-year ad revenue by a whopping 90%. Oh my God. Now, this take is like, if everything goes right, they'll be lucky to do 5.4. 100, 5.4. Wow. Now, it's just not bad news for OpenAI. Every tech giant, I'm not going to sit here and read this article. You can read it. But folks, these are canaries in the coal mine, right? I start stitching this stuff together, and look at that, folks. I'm so glad we have a bearish trudge on the S&P 500. Look at that. There's Friday's close, and we're hitting 7,400 with airspeed. Look at that implosion. Okay, a couple more things, and then we're going to start trading here. This was actually good news this morning over a cup of coffee. Big companies are starting to hire again, defying predictions of an AI wipeout. Eh, Tell that to the 280,000 already fired. Now they might be getting rehired, so to speak, but these companies are trying to find the AI medium. Maybe they went pendulum too far, like you're all fired. Now they're slowly bringing some people back. That's great. But could you imagine getting fired from Meta? From AI replaced you, and then you get an email from HR like today, like, "Hey, Matt, sorry, could you come back? You're going back to ultimately be replaced again." So you can see good news in that headline. Mm, yeah, that's an interesting one this morning. How about this last week? Did you see this? This should have been national news. A rogue open AI bot escaped the lab and hacks its rivals. This isn't my word. These are the nerds and booger eaters last week. Unprecedented incident will revive concerns about new tools could be repurposed for unstoppable cyber attacks. This isn't, folks, when these people are saying this stuff, do you remember Elon Musk like 3, 4 years ago said we need to stop? Everybody stop. Everybody, we need a worldwide pause on AI. Let's just take a step back. This is getting scary. I don't care how you feel about Elon Musk. He's one of the smartest men on the planet. When that dude, so Bill Gates at the same time said what? AI is great. We don't need that. That dude's a disgusting human being. When that guy says something is going to be great, you should be terrified. When Elon Musk says this is really bad, we should have stopped. It's too late. How about this, man? This is insane. This thing got out of the lab and went and hacked it. Folks, it was let me give you some techie speak. Whenever I do web development and stuff like that, you do stuff in a sandbox. Why? You don't want to impact live stuff going on. So it's in a safe, protected environment. It can't escape. It figured out how to get out of the sandbox. Now, I'm going to pause for effect here because we've all seen the movies, right? This was also this morning. NVIDIA weighs 250 billion backstop for OpenAI's gargantuan Ohio data center campus. Really interesting. I know, man. It's terrifying. Nano nuclear. This is one of our lotto tickets in my portfolio. Nano nuclear and Fort Thiel Advanced Critical Chronos Fuel System. This is a lottery ticket in my portfolio, and that's exactly what it's called. Transcendence. You got it, man. That's exactly right. Transcendence. All right. So pull up, because I'm in a good mood, your Death Star report. This went out to Tactical Trade Alerts this morning, but I just gave it to you all because I'm awesome. So here's the deal. After market close on Thursday, the market's implying a plus or minus 7% move. How do they know? I'm going to show you the options prices. This is how you look at it. So this is going to be huge, right? And I'm not going to sit here and read this whole report. You should read this over a cup of coffee. But these are the numbers. This is what Wall Street is modeling. I sat here for about an hour and a half this morning looking at all this stuff. So looking for some solid growth. If they don't hit these, folks, it's going to be bad. If anything, Wall Street's expecting better. Like we don't want good, we want obscene. Yeesh. Okay. AWS is really what moves the stock. We don't really care, hey, yeah, your people are ordering more Amazon Prime movies or we're shipping a lot more packages. FedEx and UPS are boring stocks. So AWS is every time Amazon reports earnings, everybody immediately goes to what? I don't care about earnings. I care about AWS earnings. It's its own company inside of Amazon, right? So again, you can read this. This is also huge. I already told you about this. Trainium, the chips business, cleared a 20 billion annual run rate in the last quarter, growing at triple digits. Jassy, the CEO, said that business is 50 billion alone. Again, man, I always come back to this is why this stock is the Death Star. It has its own everything. Advertising, yay. Here's the CapEx and free cash flow, right? The bearish case. The good thing about Amazon, though, folks, is it's self-funding. What do I mean? They sell a bunch of other stuff and help pay for the AI foray, right? Not every other company does that. OpenAI doesn't have a FedEx or UPS, right? And Meta and Microsoft are kind of one-trick ponies. Amazon is in everything. Uh, is there a Microsoft day, right, where you get a great man? No. People, I think my wife puts it on her calendar like, hey, it's Prime Day. We're going to buy a bunch of stuff for Ole Miss and see you when we take Keely and Jack back. Q1's headline, this was a 70% beat, folks, right? So this is, when Thursdays, I already said this, headline crosses, look at the operating income in AWS first. That's everything else is noise. So we'll go take a look at the trading screen right now and the stuff like that. But here's what I also want to cover. This is why I say often that trading around earnings is gambling. Why? Look at the chart, baby. Q1, I'm not going to read all this stuff, but folks, I mean, a beat. What happened? Stock went down. This missed. Stock went up. A beat. So, folks, it is, go read all this stuff, folks. This is where retail traders like, wait a minute, they had blowout earnings and the stock went down. Precisely. So you have to be very, very careful, right? Big beat. Hey, stock went up 10%. How about a slight miss? We imploded 11% after hours, right? So go take a look at that. Summary. In 3 of the last 4 quarters, Amazon beat on revenue and beat on AWS, and the stock fell in 2 of them. Wait, out of 4, yeah, that's a coin flip, man. That's a 50-50, right? Amazon doesn't trade on the quarter. It trades on what? The guidance and the CapEx. I tell my TGO members that earnings is 80-20. 20% of an earnings call is what? Here's how we did. I really don't care. 80% is what? The guidance, the forward look, right? And you can see that in after hours trading. Hey, here's how we did. Hey, here's how we're going to do it. It's looking awful. Boo, right? So, and again, we'll go look at a trade, blah, blah, blah. This is a great, this is why we're not touching on Thursday, but we're going to go look at a long-term bullish trade because you get into those now, right? So go read this report. It's worth its weight in gold. They're going to report a good quarter. I mean, they're not, very rarely does, I can't even remember when they reported like a quote bad quarter, right? But is it good enough type of thing, right? What have you done for lately? All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and, well, Chip, you're reading ahead, man. So let's go. That's my current position, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, and we're right on time. I love this. If you're new to trading options, hold on, let's pull up a good Amazon chart in the background. So let's go open the range a little bit. Let's go a year. Here's the funny, look at this. This was, you see the E's? Those are earnings. You see this E last year? This was the, oh my God, they're spending that much on CapEx and AI. I love it. The next earnings was exactly the opposite. Look at that. That much up, that much down. It was the exact opposite. Oh my God, they're spending that much on CapEx and AI. And then this one was obscene, the 70% blowout. So now look at us. We're like round tripping here. This needs to break out. And that's why Jeffrey said, hey man, this stock's trading at 1/3 that it should be. So this is the make or break. We love CapEx. We hate CapEx. Oh my God, that was disgusting. Show me the money. This is why this is going to be huge. All right. Now, with that in mind, for all my folks who are new to options trading, I'm going to give you some quick training. You ready? Whiz, I'm long-term bullish on Amazon like you are. It just makes sense. Everything you just said makes sense. It's the Death Star. When or if the AI bubble pops, this will be left standing. All the other crap will be gone. Or the Death Star will what? Buy them, absorb them, put them out of business. It's the Borg if you're a Star Trek fan. Now, If you look at that, we're not even stopping at 7,400 right now on the S&P 500. Look at that. What did I say back here? I said we're going to go through 7,400 with airspeed. It's almost like I do this for a living. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you just trade stock, what do? I'm going to go buy 100 shares of Amazon. And obviously, it's flopping all over the place. But, folks, how many of you want to spend over $23,000 right now to buy 100 shares of Amazon? It's stupid. And if you took that as an offense, like I trade stocks, well, offense intended, because it makes 0 sense. First of all, you don't get to, if you're 100 shares, I think Jeff Bezos, I think his ex-wife probably owns a couple more shares than you. So your vote means nothing. And there's no dividend at Amazon. So why would you spend over 23 grand on this? You don't. Here is just remember 23,500 or whatever it is. Remember that. Now, here's your options training for the day. Let me deselect that. And we're going to fly as far out into the future as we can. December, this is an options chain. We can go all the way out to December of 2028. That is 872 days into the future. Okay. Now, I want to give the why, because I long-term bullish, man. I want to give this trade as much runway to go up as I can. And remember, folks, I think the last time I researched this, the average American holds a stock for like 16 months now or something like that. This ain't your, people get in and out of stuff. In the options, I'm going to fly all the way out into the future and get long-term bullish. Now, if you're new to options, you probably know this. You ready? You know what, Whiz? The stock's at 230. I'm going to buy one call option. If you're new to options, buying one option contract, it's a contract, right? You and me. When you buy one option contract, you have the right, not the obligation. You're never obligated. You just have the right to buy Amazon, 100 shares of it at $230 on or before December of 2028. Okay? 95% of options contracts are never exercised. 5% they are. A dividend tactic and definium, or no, a tie last week in the psychedelic space. I'll cover that in your options weapons school training. But now let's look at the math. Would you rather spend over 23 grand, 23.5, or 6,800 bucks? Now, I shouldn't have paused that long, because if you would, you shouldn't be in here. Why would you spend 23,500 bucks when you can spend 6,800 bucks? I'm not done yet. Remember, when you buy a call option, you're bullish. Whiz, I'm buying that call option all the way out into the future because I think Amazon's going to go up. Great. Now, somebody on the other side of that has to sell that to you, sell that call option to you. They're bearish. So a call buyer, I'm bullish. Somebody sell you that call, they're bearish. Welcome to options. Now, you've probably heard, and I'll bring it up on the right side of the screen, puts. You've been at a cocktail party. Some guy's like, I think the market's going to go down. I'm going to buy some puts. Buying a put is bearish. I think something's going to go down. I'm bearish. Who has to sell you that put? Somebody who's bullish. It ain't going to go down, dude. I'll sell you that put. So selling a put is bullish. So why don't we sell a put with the same strike, that's the price, strike price, 230, and the same expiration, December of 2028. Ladies and gentlemen, $2,700. I have saved you over $21,000. One more time, rhetorical question. How many of you would rather spend 23.5 or 26, 27? Now let's keep talking. Because, of course, you're sitting here going like, man, that guy, now I know why his call sign's Whiz. You'd be wrong. I went from 23.5 at 100 shares to 6,700 with one call option to 2,700. Wow. Now, let's go look at this picture. That right there, the top line is long stock. It's day one of investing school. When I buy 100 shares, if it goes up 10 bucks, I made 10 bucks. That's long stock. The little thin line underneath it is this options tactic. Don't ever say option strategy. It makes you sound foolish. Strategies are high level, 100,000 foot, saving for college, income generation, managing risk, buying a boat in a year. Those are strategies. Tactics support a strategy. This is an options tactic called synthetic stock. Folks, we are long Amazon right now for a fraction of the price. Why is it called synthetic? I already told you the two reasons. You don't own these shares. So you don't get what? A vote. Nobody cares about your vote. And you don't get, what's the other thing I said? A dividend. There ain't no dividend. Jeff Bezos chokes at the word dividend. He's like, what a dumb concept. If I make money this quarter, I'm going to put that money back into the Death Star and make it bigger. That's why Democrats hate Amazon. On paper, we're broke. We don't make any money. That's because they reinvest it. It's smart. Now, you're probably the smart, my current members already looked at this. What's the max potential loss? Whoa, 25 grand. What's the max potential loss if you buy 100 shares of Amazon? 20, whatever it was, 23,500 bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the max risk if you buy 100 shares of Amazon? It goes to zero. The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never zero, but they're almost insignificant, right? So look at that. The probability of max loss is 0.00, and I used to be able to do the math. It's like 17 decimal points and a 1. But I'm a fighter pilot. I'm an options trader. I don't like any of this. So I'm going to buy some protection. I'm going to buy an ejection seat. We never do anything at Top Gun Options without an ejection seat. Trading's a form of combat. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which one do you want to be? Now, if you've also been in a cocktail party, you've probably heard somebody say, oh my God, the market imploded 20%. It's in a, say it with me, bear market. January of 2022 to October of 2022, the S&P 500 went down 25%. Thanks, Joe Biden. What did CNBC froth at the mouth? We're in it. No, they didn't really because they're liberals. They said what? We're in a bear market. So why don't we buy what I call a protective put or disaster put, 20% under the stock price? 23 and 23 is what? 46? 233 minus 46 is what? Who did the math? Is that like 195? What's the disaster put, folks? Somebody usually does the math for me. Something like that, 190, right? So, 180. Thank you. See, I wasn't even close. 185. So, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Now, the cost of the trade went up a little bit, but guess what? Why is divorce expensive? It's worth it. We were risking 25.5, 3, 2, 1. Now we're only risking 9,400 bucks. If Amazon goes to zero in the next however many years, the most we'll lose is 9,300 bucks. If you owned 100 shares and you didn't bail out, you'd lose 23,500 bucks. On your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a tactic called synthetic stock with a protective put. Instead of buying the 100 shares, you could do this. Now, I just told you that trading earnings is gambling. Well, it is, but let's go. It's 31st. Let's go out to Friday. Okay. I'm going to look at something real quick. We're at 233. There is no 233 strike, but you see this 232.5 strike? Let's just say 750, right? Mid-market. And over here is 850. What's that? $16. I already said that in the document, right? in the trade report. That's the at the money straddle. That's what the market thinks, not me. The options market is pricing that it's going to stay below what's that? 250 and above, whatever that minus that would be. Here's what I'm looking at though. If you like gambling, I don't, you could sell, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, a Friday, July 31st, call against this name. Well, first of all, I mean, I wouldn't sell the 240, obviously, but look at what just happened. If I sell a Friday 240 call, I bring in what's in between those two, 520. I just got paid 520 bucks. What did that do, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. It just lowered your cost basis, Whiz. Welcome to options trading. Welcome to being cheap and having somebody else fund this trade. If Amazon never moves again during the life of this trade and you just sold weekly calls against it, this would be paid off in however many months, like 6 months to a year, whatever. Isn't that awesome? In the land of options trading, I can have somebody else help fund something. This is what we do. Now, I already told you the 240 strike. I mean, Amazon could sneeze on Thursday. But remember, it's so funny. The last couple times Amazon reported, it either had a massive move in the after hours on Thursday, and then the other day did the next day. It's in the report. Go read it. So the at the money straddle is up at about, two, maybe go up to 250. Even that, folks, you're bringing in, look at this. If you sold the 250, you're bringing in what? About 247 bucks. You still lowered your cost basis. But go up to the at the money straddle, whatever it was, 252 and a half. You're still getting 200 bucks, 255. $1.60, man. That would be a big move in Amazon. So, folks, a couple ways. So whoever asked that earlier, it was a great question. I showed you my current position. I got synthetic stock after the last earnings up at 270. It's a little underwater, but what am I doing each week? Selling calls against it and bringing in cash. I am long-term. You saw it on the screen, my existing position down at the bottom there. Let me real quick, I'm going to grab a screenshot of this. Why? Because I blast out these alerts in the middle of a solo AI brief. So, warning as I'm grabbing screenshots of this, do not sell this short call if you don't like gambling, because Amazon could miss and rise, it could beat and go down. But that's why you're seeing a lot of premium in these options right now, folks, right? Because everybody makes sense. I mean, hell, there's even, let's go out to like a 257 and a half. You're still getting 130 bucks. So there's a live demonstration of the at the money straddle. And since I already have this trade on, I'm not going to add that to my portfolio. But folks, let's go look at the at the money straddle real quick if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's go out to July 31st. Whoops, right there. And the strikes went away, so 232 and a half. Because I'll give you a visual demonstration of what the at the money straddle is, 232 and a half. And folks, if these, look, it's 16 bucks, what they tell you. If these concepts are foreign to you, like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about, you're going to get access to 9 options weapon school training sessions. I'm going to teach you this stuff. I was born the world's best fighter pilot, or the world's best options trader. Yeah. But you see that Elizabeth Warren TP up here? That green, look, 248 to the top and 216 to the bottom. That's not Whiz. That's the current pricing in these options. The market is saying, hey, by Friday, we think it's below 250 and above 215. Does that make sense? If not, I'm gonna learn you. But let me just show you what we do live in a brief, since there are non-member folks in here. 200, however many of you. So here we go. What's today? It's 27 July. New Amazon long-term bullish synthetic stock. I'm going to hit at everyone. So you get an app on your phone, folks. This is obviously the online look at what we do. But you get, for folks who are like Whiz, every Monday morning at 10 a.m. I work for a living. 80 to 85% of TGO members work for a living. They're about to get an alert. And then obviously, I don't know, lunchtime, kids go to bed, whenever you can watch the replay that is posted on the member page. So, warning. Amazon reports earnings after market close on Thursday. Be very careful selling a short call against this position that expires on Friday, period. Oh, and I'm also going to be in a better mood. Attached is Amazon earnings brief. So I'm going to add the report to my solo AI people, add attachment, upload. So this is what you get, man. I mean, this is, we'll talk about all right, so there we go. Let me make sure it uploaded. So if you're on your phone right now, sitting at work, you're going to get this live. And then you can obviously click on the Amazon. There's the trade alert right there. Look at that, man. All right, publish, boom. This is what our member area looks like. We have our general intel and where we post stuff like that. Rick, hopefully you're in here, man. The link's right up there, man, at the top of the webpage. Our hunters, that's part of Full Throttle. Scott, nice bear call spread at the open, man. Well done. That was a nice profit there. So this is what our kind of member area looks like, but I just sent out a trade alert in the solo AI thread right there. Underneath brief replays, this is where all your member content is. The tactical trade alerts, the AR, and then solo AIs down here. And then we're going to talk about this in a second. Options weapon school. Wiz, I have no idea what you're talking about. You will when you take your options weapon school. But this is our solo AI member area. Hey, man, I need to view the replay from today. Well, obviously, this is last week's, but it's right there. The replay is right at the top, and then everything's posted right there. The trade from last week. Oh, SpaceX. We are pounding SpaceX into the dirt and printing money. Folks, SpaceX, it's over with. Do not, I think it's a $70 stock. What? Why do you think that? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a little political here. Democrats take the House. Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, is going to impeach Trump, Hegseth, and everybody else. They're going to drag Elon Musk up to Capitol Hill. Why? First of all, Doge, right? They're going to rip apart, subpoena, force testimony about Doge, what they did in Doge. And they're also going to start ripping apart SpaceX contracts and government stuff. Elon Musk will be target number one for Democrats in November. I guarantee you. And SpaceX is going to get hammered. So if you're not we have a bearish put 2x1 on for SpaceX. That is two of them that are printing money. If you join, get access to that trade. You got to pound SpaceX into the dirt. Now, having said that, so tactically, I could not be more bearish on SpaceX. Strategically, I could not be more bullish on SpaceX. And that's what we get to do as options traders. We can be bipolar, and so can I. I can be short-term tactically bearish on something and long-term bullish. Does everybody understand that? Here's a look real quick at the other names in our portfolio. Palantir, we talked about Amazon, CCJ, Broadcom, Bloom Energy, Constellation, and NVIDIA. This is the AI portfolio you're going to get access to when you join. I absolutely love what we're doing in our solo AI model portfolio. Okay. Mike, it's 5 p.m. in Palma de Mallorca. Love that I can zoom into this while on vacation. Look at that, Mike. Mike joining us on vacation. That's very, very cool. So a couple things. Let's go back to here, and then I'm going to answer a bunch of questions that are zipping around here. When we were solo Amazon, look at Christine. Month-to-date profits on Amazon, $107,000 with more to go. Thanks, Wiz, for all your expertise and guidance doing day trades with short calls to protect my Amazon profits. Learning from the best. Anne, are you in here? I don't know if you're in here, Anne. She made me look like an idiot that November. In 3 days, I made $90,000 on short calls. She trading a lot of contracts, 30 contracts, utilizing Wiz's guidance. That stuff makes my heart smile. I love when people do better than me. I enjoy it. That's my job as a flight instructor. Um, that's you're supposed to succeed. I just showed you our AI model portfolio on the brokerage platform, but this is how they're broken up, right? We trade AI compute and cloud, Amazon, NVIDIA, Broadcom. Those are my three ships in that fleet. They need power. Scotty in the engine room. I'm giving you all I got, Captain. GEV reported last week. And obviously Kathy Hochul or whatever her name is in New York. No data centers. This is like turning into whoever posted that earlier, Shrek. You have got to watch the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp. There is a growing backlash. I covered this last week in Solo AI. What's his name? His house got firebombed, the Anthropic CEO. There is a growing, people don't want these data centers or the power places. Elon Musk is talking about SpaceX. We have to put power things in space to be closer to the sun. We're in the power names. And then the software and cooling. Palantir is a big name. It's a gift back here. That, what's his name? Carp, the CNBC interview he did 2 weeks ago. It is a must watch. If you didn't watch the Alex Karp interview from weeks ago on CNBC, it's about 20 minutes. You're failing. And then I got my bearish SpaceX, and then I have a lotto ticket. Nano Nuclear, NNE. It's at 16 bucks. I think I got in at 50. Nuke power, small nuke modular reactors are the way to go. We just don't, there is no power on this planet that is going to be acceptable. Men lie, trades don't. I took a screenshot of this a couple days ago. What's this? Year-to-date performance. And look when I really start blowing away the competition. When the volatility hits. I love storms. 65% year-to-date. 9.8, let's go 10. 10 for the S&P, 10 for the NASDAQ. Who cares about the Dow? Folks, if you are trading with me, if you started with 10 grand at the beginning of the year at TGO, you have 16.5. What if you had 100 grand, folks? Could you imagine if you had 100 grand and now you have 65 if you started TGO at the beginning of the year? I love this. I'm on track. I love my average is a triple digit return each year. I think my worst year was like 85%, which makes the best hedge fund in the world cry. Paul, he does. The president does keep talking about the small nuke plants. That's the way to go. There's no other way than nuke. So here's what you get in Solo AI because I want to keep us on time today, folks. You get ongoing those reports that I just showed you. Those things are worth their weight in value, man. I mean, they are just awesome. Live trade brief. You're in it Monday, 10 a.m. You see the positions. I just blasted them out live to my members. My phone just buzzed when I got that alert. So you don't have to be here. You can watch the replays whenever. We got Mike on vacation tuning in. Instant trade alerts on the app. The 3 skill-based manuals, right? Primary, intermediate, advanced, and you get an OPCL or options pocket checklist and access to the ready room. I just showed you what the ready room looks like. I post my intel there throughout the day. Hey, here's what I'm hearing from this person, that person. That's my PR lady. Newsmax today. Yes, that works. But I'm not done yet. If you do an annual membership, right? Annual membership, I'm going to throw in 9 options weapon school sessions. I take a building block approach. So for the folks who are like, dude, I don't even know what a call is, welcome. Some of my Marine buddies can't spell the word option. Session 1, I don't even talk about options. This is where I gather my intelligence. This is the basics of investing and the market. And this is our TGO trade plan. Session 2 is when I start talking about this is a call, this is a put. So we take a building block approach, folks, just like me going to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. This is an airplane. This is a wing. These are engines. This is the weather. Aerodynamics, get in the plane, building block approach. That's how I can accelerate your learning. People have been here for years and they go back and watch these things. I'm watching a synthetic stock one again. That synthetic stock tactic, I took what, 10 minutes? It's an hour, hour and a half brief. And I'll answer your question in a second here about that. So this is 497 bucks. Options Weapon School if you want to buy it standalone. It's included in the annual membership. Do the annual membership. That's the way to go, folks. Period. That's kind of my friend Shrek. The marketing team's like, it's called an irresistible offer. I'm like, okay, we'll make it up in volume. What do you need to trade successfully, folks? Training. Education is the world's full of educated derelicts, folks. Training gives you a skill. Fighter pilots, plumbers, doctors, trained. I'm going to train you. I'm not going to educate you. Financial education is a joke. You need a plan. You're going to get access to my 7-step trade plan. I just kind of knocked it out as we talked about that synthetic stock, right? All right, if I got some good training and I have a plan, a trade plan, what else do I need? Practically applying that. Before Al Gore invented the internet, man, I was driving out to the base library to read a book on options trading, man. Now we have live trade briefs. If I had TGO back when I was on active duty trading, Elon Musk would be working for me, folks. So this is what you need to trade successfully. I don't have enough time. It's one brief a week, man. This ain't a lot of time. I actually went over. We're usually only an hour because I respect people's times. And you just got the trade alert and you can watch the replay. Don't give me your bullshit. I don't have time excuse. I don't have enough money. Folks, you can get started. You don't need 25 grand to buy 100 shares of Amazon, right? I just showed you for a fraction of that, you can get airborne trading options. I think $1,000 at E-Trade or most brokers to start trading options. And some of these names like Nano Nuclear won options contracts a couple $100 in that lotto ticket name, right? I'm not experienced enough. Perfect. If you are, you're probably, folks, when I went to flight school in Pensacola, there was a guy in my primary class who had his first flight, first time seeing an airplane was like from University of Montana to Pensacola. We also had a Learjet pilot. He was 6,000 hours flying business. He's like, I want to go. Top Gun came out. He's like, I can be a fighter pilot. He almost failed out. The guy who first flight on an airplane, second flight was in a Navy plane, ended up flying Hornets, right? So I don't care about your experience. I'm going to break you down and build you up. So if you have little experience, welcome aboard. All right, here we go. So choose your plan. It's $197 a month. Hell, the short call that you sold might sell out the Friday, just paid for your full month. Okay. So no options weapon school, folks, because you're not paying for it. Okay. So annual is the best deal right now. And I'll go get you the link right now. Okay. So yeah, exactly, David. Plus the new day trading rules, right? You don't need it always infuriated me, folks, that a government that is trillions of dollars in debt, 38, 9, 40, can tell you what you can do with your money. What a disgusting government. We're $39 trillion in debt, but you can't day trade. What? Here is the link to get air. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. There's the link to get airborne. 197 per month. Obviously, the math works out to do the annual, folks. Do the annual membership. Or do you have a trial? You're in the trial. You're in a free brief. The 197 is your next trial. I want to try it out for a month. Do it. It ain't free. It's 197 a month, folks. I'm not a charity. I run a charity. I am not a charity. So there's your trial right there, folks, is the 197 a month. Folks, this is the fastest way to start trading options while targeting the most explosive sector in history. And this week, I'm going to be live trading in the member area. So that's one of the reasons we came up with those member areas is because during the COVID crash, I'd stop a live trade brief where I made $750,000 in a live brief. And people were like, whoa, 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 what are you doing the rest of the day? I'm like, I'm going to sit here and keep making money. Hey, can we have a forum? I'm like, that's where that came from, right? So I'm going to be doing this the rest of the week. If you join today, I'm going to be trading the other names in our AI portfolio as we shuck and jive. So the trading just doesn't happen in the live trade brief. It's going to happen after I get up and go get some coffee and come back and look at some other stuff. I'm going to be posting additional trades. 107 reviews on Trustpilot. 4.99 rating. You can go read that yourself. We keep the squadron tight. I don't want a zoo. No offense to the hundreds of unwashed masses. I don't want hundreds of unwashed masses. We want a nice tight squadron. Then we close the doors and we go on with or without you. I'll do another solo AI brief like in next quarter or something like that. If you notice, we don't do this a lot at TGO. I'm like, all right, it's a big week of earnings and news with the Fed and war. Let's knock out a brief here. So once we get those 25, we'll shut the doors and get airborne with or without you. All right, let me scroll up and take a look at questions. Somebody had a question about the short call, I think. Drinking Money Puts, 10:35 in the morning. Sniper shot, 15 minutes. Thanks for the training, Whiz. You're welcome, Jim. I love when people are making money off this stuff. Short call. No, Andrew. Let's clean that up right now. No. If you have a short, this is not, excuse me, this is not a covered call. Let's bring up my current Amazon position. Well, if I, out the Friday, sell the, whatever it is, whatever I said, 255 for $1.70. Hell, even the 257.5 has premium. So if I sell, you know what? I will do the 255. I'll do that in my, let's see if I can get filled. So ladies and gentlemen, am I sharing that? Yeah, so I just fired a 257.5 call against my synthetic stock. Ladies and gentlemen, when you sell a call option, you are obligated to deliver 100 shares of the stock if it goes through that short strike. Synthetic stock, Andrew, is not long stock. I said that a bunch of times, right? You're synthetically long with options. So if you let Amazon expire on Friday and it's above that call you sold, Saturday morning, as you're in your robe and bunny slippers drinking coffee, E-Trade's going to go into your account and say, all right, you are obligated to deliver 100 shares at 257.5. Whiz doesn't have 100 shares at 257.5. So they're going to go get it, and you're going to be short 100 shares when the market opens Monday morning. So you're going to learn this in your options weapon school training. Close any short call on Friday that's in the money. Don't let that happen. Roll them up or just close them or something like that. Remember, if your short call goes in the money, the first thing I tell you to do is what? Celebrate. What do you mean? Because you want the underlying stock to go up. You don't want it to be going down, right? So congratulate yourself that your underlying trade's making money and then manage the short call. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? You're going to learn this in your options weapon school training. But Andrew, I'm glad you asked that question. And my phone's buzzing a couple times, which means people are joining. Like I said, only 25 max. What's that? Wow, 7 already. Awesome. So people are, any other questions? I went way long. I'm sorry. I went over by, you know what? I went over by 18 minutes, but my intro was 23. So it all works out. Take the intro out of it, folks, and we're at about an hour. I don't sit, and folks, I don't sit here all day and do this, man. I'd rather get my teeth drilled. I fire a trade or two, if that. Remember, no trade is a trade. In a week like this, ladies and gentlemen, like earnings and the Fed, sit on your hands, man. Grab some popcorn and hang out, right? So, yeah, Sharon, it's churn. We keep it right around there. Sharon, one of the best emails that I can get from people is like, "Hey, Whiz, I'm good," right? Remember, folks, you don't go to, I don't know if you can see my Top Gun patch. You don't go to Top Gun forever. Like people, even the instructors at Top Gun are there for a 2 or 3 year tour. Me, I went to Top Gun. Shrek was in my Top Gun class. He went through the smart one. I went through the easy one. You're not there forever. You go to the mountain, you get the knowledge, you get your patch, and you go back to the fleet and you teach others. So Sharon, we get a nice little normal churn. But it's funny, and I can show you some case studies like, Whiz, that was me. Got trained by a left and went on my own for a little bit and was miserable and came back. A lot of people come back, Sharon, because of the intelligence, the breaking news. Like I said, I know general. This thing is priceless. The network that I have, the people I talk to, the things that whether it's in the psychedelic space, the defense space. So long answer, short question, Sharon. Yeah, no, it's just a normal. That's why I only do it like once a quarter, because that's usually a nice little turnover there. So, Ginny, that's exactly right. Ginny, I'm here for the rants. A lot of people leave and come back like, dude, I just missed your take on the stuff. Brent came for the knowledge, stay for the intel and red team. It's exactly right. What is that? That's the Simpsons, right? Come for the freaks, stay for the food. If you're going to trade options, join TGO. Closed our Definium last week for an 1,100% profit. And Karen, I'm stuck with you. We love you, Karen. Folks, we're in solo AI, but the psychedelic space is exploding. Absolutely exploding. Speaking of that, if you want, go join Tactical Trade Alerts too. You can get access to the most recent Tactical Trade Alert with all the psychedelic stuff in there. It's our entry. This is our gateway drug. It is not live trading. It's like the Amazon report you just got access to. It's got trades in it. It's a report. A lot of folks just like, Whiz, I print these out and I read them. So Tactical Trade Alerts is only, $97 a month, but you can go join that. It's separate from Solo AI, obviously, and the annual is $970. Folks, that Amazon report is a couple $1,000 easily to high net worth individuals or hedge fund non-clients. I did these things in Chicago, folks. So if you're interested in just the Tactical Trade Alerts, you can just join that service if you want to kick the tires too. What was that comment? People return or don't leave because the information is spot on. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. All right, folks. Any other questions, concerns, smart remarks? Keep them to yourself. Like I said, trade groups. If you want to see everything we do here, you can click compare what we do. That's a good page to go check out. But the annual Solo AI is the way to go because you get options weapons school training as well. Okay, let me give you that link one more time. And then one of the good deals about TOPGUN Options, folks, is over here. Let me show you the member area. You can always shoot me Whiz, I got a question, right? Right there, man. We have a little chat over there, and you can chat. And the primary brief is tomorrow morning. That's where you join the primary brief, folks. Somebody was asking earlier. It's right at the box at the top. Any other questions, concerns, smart remarks? Barry Schlumberger up over 100%. There you go, man. Love it. Looks like we're bouncing off 7,400 right now. We had a near-death experience, went through 7,400. And you see these lines, folks? I'm going to teach you how to trade the S&P 500. We move in $25 increments. You see, we went to a round number, 7,400. We went up to what? 7,425. And now we're in no man's land. We're either going to get pulled back up to 7,425 or implode to 7,400. That's a whole separate discussion, folks. You do get that as part of Options Weapons School training, folks. I think it's sessions 8 and 9. I talk about how I trade the S&P 500 here. You can see it right there, man. Down, up, down, 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 up to a 25. We opened all the way up to 70 or 75, and then that's a whole separate discussion. Bruce, profits on Definium were great. I love hearing that, guys. I love Chris saying the exact same thing, man. I love when people are like, holy crap, man, I made over 1,000% on this position. That makes my heart smile. That's what I'm here to do, man. I just showed you my account up 65% year to date. I love when people do better than me based on what I train them to do. All right, guys. There was a couple more people as well. Like I said, 25 will shut the doors. Here's the replay page. If you came in late, like, hey man, is there a replay? It'll be on this page after I get some coffee and stretch my legs. I will upload that right here on this page. Okay, it'll be right at the top, and then you can join down here at the bottom. All right, guys, good stuff. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. To the couple hundred folks man, if 10% of you join, then we close the doors, right? So if you're on the fence, grab one of the slots because we end up taking this stuff down. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. And Whiz out. Welcome aboard Solo AI. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers.